If you're new in town or just new to this whole podcast thing, you're tuning in to Law by Night, the podcast that discusses all things vampiric with no fear of breaching the Masquerade. In this episode, I will present to you 10 World of Darkness books from my collection that I love to read over and over again. Books I think you should get to enhance your role-playing and storytelling. I have a lot of World of Darkness books in my library, 65 physical World of Darkness books at the time of writing, in addition to the 3 main D&D 5th edition books, taking the total up to 68. I know, we were this close to greatness. Anyway, I am very fond of all of them, some more than others, the World of Darkness books I mean. Some of these I have reviewed, others I have not. I will probably review most of these by the time the podcast is over, but on the off chance that doesn't happen, which is highly unlikely, I just wanted to talk about 10 books from said collection that I really enjoy and happen to use a lot for characters I play and create as NPCs, as well as books I just pick up time and time again to read at one's leisure. But before I ramble about some awesome World of Darkness books I think you should definitely purchase, here are some disclaimers. Firstly, I have stated before in the podcast and on social media numerous times that I write these scripts 4 months in advance of their release and record them a month in advance. Chances are I will obtain new books in that time. Said books may include V5, Legacy Edition, VTM stuff, or any other book from one of the other World of Darkness splats. In short, this is not a definitive list by any means, nor will they be properly ranked. It does, however, give me an excuse to do another one of these episodes in the future, if I so please. Secondly, most of my books are from the Vampire the Masquerade and Dark Ages lines, both Vampire the Dark Ages and Dark Ages Vampire lines. Finally, as this is an episode written and presented by me, all thoughts and opinions are my own, so if you disagree with something I've said, that is totally fine. It does not mean that you're right and I'm wrong and vice versa. Number 10. The Encyclopedia Vampirica. It's pretty self-explanatory what this is, but if you're a little lost, allow me to help you. This book is an encyclopedia with Vampire the Masquerade facts in it, with a slight twist. That twist you can find in my review of this book. Number 9. Beckett's Jihad diary. Whilst more a large novel than a source book, there is plenty to be had, as I covered in my review in great detail for you to listen to. I found it very difficult to put the fucker down and was just excited to get through it. Number 8. Vampire the Dark Ages 20th Anniversary Edition. One of the first book reviews I did still ends up being one of my favourite books, despite it being a game I have not played a great deal of as a storyteller or a player. It is a gorgeous book to read and super easy to understand the established and yet modified V20 rules and presentation of the Dark Ages setting for Vampire, and it is so poetically macabre with a bit of sensual spice. And of course, most important to one's brand, there is so much juicy lore from start to finish. With regards to the creation of certain Bloodlines episodes, some of them would not have been able to exist without this book, so it is a very useful book all round that just so happens to be super fun to read, even if you're not a history nerd like me. Number 7. Dark Ages British Isles. Here is a book I have yet to review for a whole slew of reasons. Dark Ages British Isles is a source book for the British Isles comprising of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales during the Dark Ages setting. This book is the first of several to cover an aspect of the Dark Ages setting for all 4 Dark Ages game lines, so Vampire, Mage, Inquisitor and Werewolf, and the only geographical source book to cover all 4 games. For anyone who bases their games in the UK, like me, it is a kind of must really. Other than that, there are a lot of goodies to be found, which you can discover in your own free time, or wait when I get round to doing a review of it myself and then purchase the book. Number 6. Chaining the Beast. I don't hear enough people talk about this book, probably because it is most associated with the Sabbat and not enough people properly play Sabbat Chronicles. This book is a revised edition source book that details most of the Path of Enlightenment, in addition to the degradation of humanity in a vampire, so it is very possible to use this with long-term Camarilla and Anarch games. I really do not want to say much more than this because I do have a proper review for this coming soon, but just know that this is an awesome book. Number 5, Cults of the Blood. It won't surprise most people here that Cult of the Blood Gods is a book I find very difficult to put down, especially if you have listened to my review of it. Its dark and modern incarnation of the clans and bloodlines of death is just sublime. The powers are fun, and the myriad of cults fed to players is just delicious. If you're one of those people who felt iffy about the Hakata when they were first announced, I assure you, your worries are for naught. Number 4 and 3. Law of the Clans and Law of the Bloodlines. Whilst I reviewed both of these two about a year ago as of the recording, so they essentially do the same thing, both of these books do have distinct flavours, which is a given, as different authors worked on them, and the origins of the bloodlines, for the most part, is deliberately more vague than the clans proper that they spawn from. Both books, however, are essential to the modern V5 player who wishes to integrate the intriguing lore of the Hakata into their games. Yes, they are V20 books. Get off your high horses, you pretentious poopy heads, and get these fucking books. They are brilliantly written with lots of concepts for you to try out. Number 2. Demon. The Fallen. And now for something completely different. Vampire politics, but with fallen angels now called demons. Without getting too much into the lore, for that warrants its own separate series to unpack, there is a beautiful sadness that keeps pulling me to read the book over and over again. Am I an expert on the lore yet? No. Do I love me some sad demon guys, gals, and non-binary pals? Yes I do. Do I love how they just blend the best bits of VTM and Werewolf the Apocalypse together? Abso-fucking-lutely. Number 1. Dark Reflections. Spectre. Probably the most unnecessary title I've seen in a while. Spectres are monstrous ghosts or poltergeists if you wish to get old-worldly about it, but poltergeists are a thing of their own right. Anyway, I love how dark and frightening this book is. It has many levels of fucked up that is definitely not something I can recommend for everyone, especially if one of your triggers is anything to do with children, because the authors do not shy from that here. If you and your players have the stomach to play some truly degenerative ghosts or have them appear as antagonists, this little book is a sickly enjoyable read. Beyond that, you'll just have to wait for a proper review. And there you have it. 10 pretty good World of Darkness books I love the shit out of that I can't stop reading. If you think they're good books too, great. If not, I mean, I couldn't give a shit, to be honest. You didn't come here for your opinion, now did you? To be kept updated, follow the Lore by Night VTM Twitter and Instagram pages to find out when we upload each episode. You can also find out by subscribing to the YouTube channel and clicking on the little bell, as you'll be immediately notified when the latest episode is live. Until next time, farewell.